So, life isn't perfect. Life is very unfair sometimes. People seem to think that Christians are supposed to always smile and be happy regardless of their circumstances. And I mean, that would be nice, but that's unrealistic. You are still human, you're still in the flesh, you're not perfect. You're not always going to be happy. I mean, if you read the Bible has plenty of people complaining about their circumstances. A lot of God's prophets are caught complaining. You could read it in the Bible. They are complaining about their circumstances. There are multiple examples of this. So, that's unrealistic. That you're never going to be angry or bitter, and your unhappiness will not necessarily always be directed at people. It could literally be directed right at God, and there are examples of that in the Bible, like Job. And so it is normal at some point in your life you might be in that situation where you're bitter and angry for prayers that have not been answered for a really long time. And when you get to a situation where you're angry at God, and you're annoyed, logically you understand as a Christian that you can't move forward. Like, you can't just be angry at God nonstop. You're not going to win that argument. You are not going to win an argument against God if you get to a point where you're angry and bitter at God. You're just venting your frustration. But you know logically that you have to get over this. You can't just, you're stuck basically. You need to get over it and move on. But depending on what happened to you and your circumstances, this could last a very long time. You could fall into a rut and not get out of it and just be angry and bitter. And this could last for years, and some people quit church and they never recover. They're backslidden their whole life. They never recover. They just get angry, and that's it. So you don't want to fall into that. And it's not like I have like some easy solution for that not to happen. I don't understand. Christians can be in all sorts of bad circumstances that would cause them to think like that. But the only thing, like, I just have one suggestion, and that is, if you focus on the good things, like I ended up in a similar situation. So what helped me, I think, is something I would call the prayer of gratitude. You need to really just start thinking optimistically. And what I did was I made a list of all of the major blessings that God has given me throughout my life. And I started chronologically. I went like to the beginning, like when I was born. And I just started to think about at what points in my life did God bless me in an important way that got me out of a tough situation, blessed me and guided me along the right path. And it's quite a list. It is quite a list. And I'm sure if you really thought about it and just sat down and thought about these things, you would have a lot of things to be thankful for. And I just made a list of the major things. I'm not talking about the small ones like, thank you for this food, or, my health. And those are things to be thankful for, and we forget about them. We just take it for granted that we're healthy, that we have good food, we have money. That's all important. We need to be thankful for those things because we take them for granted, but not everybody has those things. And you need to be thankful for them, for what God has given you, and just have gratitude towards God. And I always thought I was thankful, but it wasn't until I sat down and wrote all this out that I realized how much there really is to be thankful for in my life that God has given me. So it really helps to just shift your perspective instead of focusing on what did God not give you, to focus on what did God give me. And it really does change things when you start looking at, you become a cup half full person instead of a cup half empty person. And that, I think, is very important, is to have this attitude of gratitude. And it's very Like, you think you might be optimistic, you think you might be thankful, but you could still easily fall into this like murmuring, a complaining type of attitude, and it's very easy to fall into that, and not you might not be as thankful as you think you are. Once you really sit down and really think about this, what there really is to be thankful for, and be really specific about it, then that really puts things into perspective. And you might even want to make a list so you are just very conscious and aware of all the things God has done for you in your life. So anyway, that's it. See you next time.